Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Wicked Bitter channel. I'm Travis. Thank you for checking out this video. If you are somebody who is new to this channel and you love WWE content, you love professional wrestling, this is the channel for you. Hit like on this video, subscribe to this channel, because we're coming out with videos every single week talking about WWE. We talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the PLEs. We do email videos here where you send in your emails with your comments, your questions, your opinions, and I make videos and I read them here for all of us to enjoy. So this is a great community so far. We keep getting more and more people every single week signing up and subscribing to this channel. It's completely free. So if you would like another channel, another wrestling channel here to talk about some WWE content and also be very interactive, hit subscribe on this channel. Today, we are talking about Monday Night Raw. So I didn't know that Monday Night Raw was pre-taped until probably about halfway through Monday. I didn't realize that they were still in Saudi doing the show, or I should say maybe Monday Night Raw was going to be in Saudi. They're probably all back home by now, but yeah, it was pre-taped, and so when I heard that, I was like, okay, so I'm probably expecting nothing big to happen on Monday Night Raw, and for the most part, I am correct on that. I mean, I think we all pretty much could have expected what tonight's show would be once we found out that it was pre-taped. But yeah, let's get into it. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Dominic Mysterio start off the show. They're in the ring. Liv is cutting a promo and talking about how the Revenge Tour is done now, and it's now time for the World Tour. And talking about bragging about taking out Rhea Ripley, all that kind of stuff. And then Jade and Bianca interrupt. They get into the ring. And I don't know. I think it's because they were short-handed. Like, maybe they didn't have all the people they wanted to have out there. They didn't have the whole roster. They're pretty much just working with the PLE roster. So Jade and Bianca, for some reason, have a problem with Liv, and they're out there. And Liv tried getting in their minds, tried playing with them a little bit, saying, telling Bianca, oh, you think you're the best, the toughest, the strongest, whatever. And she said, the only problem is your tag team partner, Jade, thinks the same thing about herself. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It's like Liv's kind of planting seeds. Bianca calls her out on it, says, I see what you're trying to do, all that kind of stuff. Pierce ends up coming out. Adam Pierce comes out, splits up this whole dynamic here, doesn't want it to further, doesn't want it to get worse. And he talks about how he tells Liv that there's going to be a battle royal tonight, and it's going to be determined the number one contender for Liv's championship. And as things are cooling down, Jade and Bianca start to walk away, and Liv says, hey, Bianca, or Jade, be careful. Watch out for that knife Bianca's about to stab in your back. So furthering this whole dynamic here where they're planting seeds, trying to get us to think, is Jade and Bianca going to turn on one another? Bianca ends up slapping Liv Morgan, and Adam Pierce ends up saying that the Battle Royal is going to happen right now. It's to determine the number one contender for Liv's championship. Jade and Bianca are both in it, and then they go to commercial pretty much. And when they come back, it is the Battle Royal. It's taking place. A lot more people than I expected are going to be in it. And I thought it was pretty cool how far we've come with the women here in Saudi. We started out where they weren't allowed to perform at all. Then it became, very limited. It was just Natalia versus Lacey, and that was it. And then it eventually became women referees were allowed to be there. And now we had like a whole battle royal with like 20 women. I thought that was pretty cool. A very, very cool way to see how far we've come with the women in Saudi Arabia. So I thought that was pretty cool. The Battle Royal, I took some notes on it. I'm trying to remember it all. But Liv Morgan and Raquel end up eliminating, they weren't even in the match, but they end up eliminating Jade and Bianca from the Battle Royal. There were a couple of moments where Jade looked like she was going to square off against Bianca, and the crowd was really into it. So, it's more foreshadowing. Maybe the split is coming sooner than later. And then it ended up coming down to Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky. Io Sky ends up winning this match. She is now the number one contender for Liv's Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and pretty good start for Monday Night Raw. We get the New Day being interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly, and Woods ends up talking about how they lost their match because of interference from Ray or Chad Gable. I forgot how he said it, but Kofi Kingston disagrees. Kofi is not on board with Xavier, and here we go. We're continuing this this intense tease of like maybe a split between the New Day, because Woods and Kofi start kind of like bickering back and forth. It becomes a little bit of a small argument, and then in the middle of that argument, we get a blue screen. It's the Wyatt's VHR or VHS tape looking thing, and they show a small clip. It's a flashback of Miz talking to Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel when they were part of his Miz-tourage. So that was a pretty cool callback there. And then it shows Miz in a chair with like Uncle Howdy's mask on, like the old Uncle Howdy mask. Howdy takes the mask off Miz, and it's Miz taped up with his mouth. I thought this was pretty cool. They take the tape off Miz's mouth. Miz starts pleading with Howdy, saying, "Hey, look, you can I can act like none of this happened. I'm cool. Like, you just let me go. You can have the final testament. That's who you want." And it was cool because Howdy ends up, or Bo Dallas, I should say, ends up getting right up into Miz's face, and he's laughing, and he says, "We never cared about the final testament. It's you that we wanted." So I thought that was cool. I still kind of think that the final testament will end up helping Miz here, because if not, then Miz is just completely outnumbered. So we got to even it up a little bit. Pretty cool though. I like the way all of this was. Howdy, Bo Dallas was laughing, and that's pretty much the way that went with that whole Wyatt's and Miz thing. Like I want more. I want it to be interesting, right? Like yes, we understand the Mr. Rush thing happened. Okay, so let's see what Howdy and Bo Dallas and the Wyatts actually have to do and say about it. Like, what is the grudge? I want to know what it was. I want to know why Howdy is coming after him. Why Bo is trying to hurt him. There's got to be a reason. Obviously, it can't be just because he was part of Miz-tourage. There has to be some kind of justification. Like, this is the reason why. I want to see where this goes, but I also am curious to see how the final testament plays in and who ultimately comes out on top on this. I would figure it's the Wyatts. Not much to cover. I mean, War Raiders defeated the New Day, and again, the New Day were looking like they're not on the same page. This is going to be a continuing thing. I know in November they're teasing the whole 10 years being together, so something's coming in the next couple of weeks, few weeks. Maybe it could be around Survivor Series. We'll see. But something is going to happen with them for sure. I took some notes on this next one because it was a pretty lengthy promo here between Usos and Sami. It was Sami Zayn who came out first. He's talking to the crowd in Saudi. He's speaking the language. He says it's his people. He's so happy he can speak to his people in his language on WWE TV. I thought that was pretty cool. Before he gets much out. After that, Jey Uso comes out, interrupts him. I'm going to have to read some notes here because I took a lot of them. Jey, first of all, Jey ends up getting in the ring. He ends up thanking Sami Zayn for doing what he did at Crown Jewel by saving him. And then he asks Sami, I have to ask you to be sure. You kicking Roman in the face, was that completely an accident? You got to let me know. And Jimmy comes out. So Jimmy comes out. He's looking mad. He gets in the ring. He pretty much tells Jey, "Hey, we all saw what happened. You saw what happened. I saw what happened. Everyone did. Sami kicked Roman on the face, and it was completely 100% on purpose." And then he said that you can't trust Sami. And then Sami quickly snaps back and says, "You can't trust me? How about you? We can't trust you." And then Sami runs down Jimmy about the fact that, Jimmy, when things weren't going good, he super kicked Roman, and then he super kicked Jey, super kicked Sami. Like, Jimmy is always the one super kicking and turning on people, saying that he's out. And that went on for a little bit there with Sami and Jimmy. Let me see what else he says here. Oh, yeah. Sami said that he came out at Crown Jewel just for Jey. That's it. He only came out for Jey, not for Jimmy, not for Roman. He came out because he's cool with Jey. He loves Jey. He's going to help Jey. That's why he came out. He did mention that when it was all four of them in the ring, Jimmy, Jey, Roman, and Sami, he said that it felt like old times, and he liked that. But it only lasted for a minute, and then after that, it went away. Sami told Jey, "Look, man, I love you, but I can't do this again. I can't get involved with this family again. I'm not going to be on trial. I'm not going to be proving my loyalty. I've done that once. I'm not doing it again." He said, "Jey, I love you, but I'm out." So he leaves the ring. He starts to head out, and Jey pleads. He calls Sami Zayn. He says, "Hey, look, please come to SmackDown. Come talk to Roman Reigns. Come talk with all four of us like a family." Jimmy quickly says, "Hey, he's not family." Jey says, "No, man, I was wrong. You don't have to be blood to be family. And as far as I know, Sami is family." And then he ends up even calling Sami Uso. And the crowd chants it, of course. Jimmy not happy. And then Jay says, I hope to see you on SmackDown. So very lengthy promo. Pretty cool. It's like they packed it all in there. This is not the end. They're gonna try to take some convincing here to get Sami on board for the War Games thing, but that is clearly what they're going to be doing here. So that's I guess our answer for the War Games. We're gonna have Solo's Bloodline versus Roman, Jay, Jimmy, and Sami. We have to wonder though, will Paul Heyman be here for this? Will he be here before Survivor Series? Will Paul Heyman be the one that convinces Sami? Will he show up and convince Sami to help out? I don't know, but I feel like Paul Heyman's got to be coming back soon. He could be like the last piece needed for this whole reunion to actually work and for them to actually beat Solo now that they lost to Solo. Paul Heyman might be there. He might be the one coming up with the plan like he always does to actually beat Solo's Bloodline in that War Games match. It was a good match. Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable was a really great match. Dragon Lee ends up beating Chad Gable, and I feel like that kind of puts a cap on the whole American-made thing for me. I don't know. I just feel like I had high expectations for American-made. I thought it was going to really go somewhere, but they just keep taking L's, and maybe this is just who they are. And it's kind of like, why even take Gable away from American Alpha or Alpha Academy if he was just going to keep doing the same thing but with American Made? I feel like they have so much potential. The Creed brothers, Ivy Nile is great. Chad has been amazing over the past year and a half or so. I don't know. I don't want them to just fall into this whole mid-card like loser team faction, but so far it's looking that way. Towards the end of this match here, Ivy Nile ends up putting Zelina Vega in like a dragon sleeper, and Rey Mysterio ends up coming out, puts his arms out like, what's going on? What are you doing? Kind of thing. He ends up distracting. Chad Gable pulls up Rey Mysterio by his mask onto the apron, and Dragon Lee is distracting the ref on the other side, and Rey ends up kicking Gable in the face. Dragon Lee hits his finisher, gets the win, and that's that. I mean, I don't know. What do we do here with Gable? What do we do here with American Made? I want it to be better than this. We get to our main event tonight. It was kind of a quick show. This is a show that felt like 2 hours. It's probably because it was edited. It definitely felt like everything was just moving along. So we get our main events, the Fatal 4-Way match, Sheamus, Priest, Dominic, and Seth Rollins. In this match, Bronson Reed shows up towards the end here. He ends up causing chaos. He attacks Sheamus. He attacks Priest. He ends up attacking Seth Rollins as well. He hits a tsunami on Sheamus after a Death Valley. He hits a tsunami on Priest after a Death Valley driver. And then he puts Seth Rollins through the announce table on the outside. Dominic slides into the ring. I thought he was going to sneak away with a win here, especially after all the whole Michael Cole hyping it up. Like, imagine if Dom won this match. They did it so much that I was like, damn, is Dom actually going to win this match? So he tries getting the pin. Doesn't work. Damian Priest ends up hitting the South of Heaven on Dominic, pins him, gets the win. So Damian Priest is the number one contender for Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. And the show goes off air with Gunther in the ring looking in the face of Priest. And that's how the show ends. So it was a pretty quick Raw. Nothing noteworthy, nothing crazy. Probably the Usos and Sami was probably the most talked about thing, if not the Wyatt's thing as well. I think those two are going to be the big takeaways for tonight. But yeah, you guys let me know what you thought about Raw. Leave it in the comments or just everything in WWE in general. Just let me know what you think. We will be out with another video. Of course, we got the SmackDown reaction later on this week. I would love to do an email video. If you want to send your email in, wickedbittermedia@gmail.com. I would love to do one answering your emails on that because we haven't done one in a little bit. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Until we eat again, have a good rest of your week. I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to like this video. It does a lot for me. Please like this video. And also subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet and you love wrestling or WWE content. Okay. Till we eat again, my friends, have a good week. And until I see you in the next video, stay bitter.